Hi everyone, I'm John C. Morley, the host of the JMOR Tech Talk Show and Inspirations for Your Life. Well, hey everyone, it is John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, international talk show podcast host, and your host tonight for the JMOR Tech Talk Show. It's great to be here with you, Marcus, celebrating our second week. I think the flowers, I haven't seen them yet, but I'm told they're supposed to be coming up with it being the 13th of May? Where are those flowers? And when can I start wearing shorts?
We got some warm weather on the way here. It's rumored. So we just got to keep putting good energy out there.
Christmas is coming too. So is New Year's. But that's a fact. They're actually coming.
Yeah.
First, I want to give a very big shout out. Many of you guys know I also have another program on here, IFYL, Inspirations for Your Life. If you haven't a chance, check it out at transformyouradio.com. And I want to give a big shout out to some new fans from the greater New York City area for a couple new follows. Also, a few people that just followed us from the Los Angeles area, and for some people from the Atlanta area. And of course, last but not least, we got a couple people that started following us from the Chicago area. And yes, we got a brand new person that followed us from the Milwaukee area. So thank you so much. Really do appreciate it. We do look at our metrics, and we do try to develop some high quality content that we believe you want to listen to and watch. Why? To improve the quality of your life, to improve other people's lives, to improve your safety, and just to become educated and more aware about what's going on in society and how to make choices when you're just getting bombarded with billions of bits of information per day. You're starting to wonder if you even understand what people are saying to you. So tonight, it's no surprise, ladies and gentlemen, that there's the primaries coming up with having this election for Republican and Democrat person who's going to make the ticket. They each get to have an election, and they'll pick who is going to be the person will be the Republican head, who's going to be the Democrat head, and who is going to be independent if they have an independent ticket head. And then they'll have the other elections later on November. But a lot of school boards, a lot of boroughs, townships, they're getting ready in June for their election. But speaking of elections, speaking of votes, there's a vote that might be causing a big sway over at Amazon. Actually, this might end the whole notion of them unionizing. What do you think about that, Marcus?
That's very interesting, and it's I think there's going to be a lot of people that's upset. We talked about this on the other side, and there's going to be some really huge pushback and probably some protests.
Yeah, so Amazon.com Inc. or AMZN.O objections to a landmark union election at a company warehouse in New York City, justifying a hearing that could overturn the result of a U.S. National Labor Relations Board. Is this speculation, Marcus, or is it really going to happen? I'm not sure. I don't know what to believe until the judge, pretty much casts that final decision. It's really anybody's game, Marcus.
Yeah. Well, you got to wonder with a company as large as Amazon, if they're holding, with them holding the bag, if they got a little bit more leverage than those who, really want this to stay around.
That could be, but it's sad if they do have that leverage, because then they'd be abusing their power, wouldn't they? They wouldn't be doing what's best for our American people.
And this is what we fear most with super corporations.
they don't represent the populace of the people or the consensus of the people. They do what's best to put more money in their pocket,
Right.
unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
We'll have to see what happens with that, Marcus. And our good friend Elon Musk. What the heck's he gonna do with Twitter, Marcus?
Well, I know he's been tweeting away a lot more lately, and he has like these crazy, sarcastic ideas, but it doesn't really seem like he's uh, putting anything out serious other than
Well,
like,
I
yeah,
mean, we don't know how to take him. I mean, he did put some beginning money down, which is piddly change for him.
right,
And Musk, and I quote, told banks that he agreed to help fund his 44 billion acquisition of Twitter in TWTR.N. And that he'd crack down executive and board pay at the social media company in a push to slash costs. So he's also looking for ways to monetize tweets. And the thing is this, is he buying this, Marcus, really for freedom of the speech and public, or is he buying it for just another cash cow? And if he's buying it for another cash cow, that might be a bad thing, because we don't charge for email. I mean, people can charge to have an email account, but you don't get charged to send an email, right? Even a
right,
penny. I think he's looking at this from a financial capital. He's looking at something that could put more financial eggs in his basket. I honestly don't think he wants Twitter. I think he's just so pissed off with how they're treating them that this is kind of like an FU type thing back to them. That's
yeah,
what I think it is. I don't think he has the sincerity. So even though he did put some money down, he still can decide not to go through with it in a year, because that's what the process takes. So we'll have to follow that through and see what happens, Marcus. Right now, the way it feels, and I could be wrong, I don't think he's going to go all the way through with it. I could be wrong.
yeah. You could be, and you could, and I definitely will feel that you're very strongly right about the f you in your face, and I'll buy your company because you screwed me over. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense for someone like him.
Because he's
Yeah,
done this before. We've seen him
right,
do this with other companies, not buy
right.
them, but he's done this before. And it's almost like this big executive CEO sandbox. Let's throw big boy pies in your face game. That's almost what it seems like to me.
Right.
I have more money, so I can have a bigger army. I can crush you because I can. I don't want to, but I just want to let you know I can. I don't know. So we'll have to see where he's going with that, and his real plans. But the big thing I saw is that the board, Marcus, they're having a heart attack. These people, they're crying. They're in tears.
Yeah, yeah,
So is he just going to suddenly come up with a package? And remember, if he doesn't buy it, it stays in the control where it is right now, and he could be having all these people kowtow to him. And what happens in a year? Oh, well, we've decided not to go through with that merger. There were other projects that were on the burner that seemed more important. I just see him he possibly walking away from it like that. I mean, it's like almost like what Jeff
yeah.
Bezos did with Amazon. He
Right.
just walked away from Amazon. And the only reason he walked away from it is because he wanted to play with a bigger toy.
Hmm.
Space toys.
Yeah.
But I don't get, Marcus, how a company like Amazon can have such unstellar customer service. How can they
Yeah.
exist? I don't get it. I don't understand it. But
Yeah,
yet people still keep buying from them.
and it flies over the radar. It's not being cracked down enough. The customer service continues to be subpar, and it's just really
There's
crap.
two companies out there I have to tell you that's been very subpar. One has been that one. Another one that's been horrible has been Gusto. They offer a very inexpensive payroll, one fee for the month. But when they make a mistake, it's a disaster, and you log tickets and you go back and forth. And if there's a real tax problem, they can't help you. You got to email, and that's got to be somebody offline. They don't get on the phone. The tax compliance department doesn't take phone calls.
Oh wow.
They're in a dark room. There's no phones in there. I think you should get them a cordless phone. They work in dark rooms.
Yeah.
You know what it sounds like to me, Marcus? It's like these people are deliberately shrugging responsibility. I mean, that's what it appears like to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame to have that many resources at your disposal, and then you're not utilizing them, man. And then you wonder why the little guys underneath you complain at you. It's like you're sitting there like, what did I do? What did I do?
I think it's going to come down to the fact that, and then there was another guy, I don't know if you know this, about maybe 6 months ago. He was trying to start another Amazon. I was laughing at it because he was trying to start this company and sell like stock for it. It went nowhere. But he's like, oh, I'm going to replace Amazon in 6 months. I'm like, yeah, right. And the reason I said, yeah, right, is he didn't even have a website. He didn't have anything. He was selling people of something, and then he was going to pay everybody for every sale that came through.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
If you get in now, it doesn't cost you anything. But if you get in a month from now, it might be $400 or $500 for the year. It just sounds to me like a Ponzi type scheme.
Yeah, it really did.
Similar to what happened with the wonderful crypto. I don't even want to hear any crypto. In fact, you notice I don't bring any crypto guests on. And the reason for that is I just don't want them giving you false information. And I feel every person that's talking about crypto seems to have garbage coming out of their mouth. So I'd rather them just speak in their own trash can offline than, take our valuable airtime here. But crypto is not where it used to be. And all those people that were, saying, oh, it's going to do this, it's going to do that. They fell off the earth. What happened? Oh, yeah, I changed jobs, and oh, I don't do that anymore. Oh, yeah, I don't have too much time for that. What happened?
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy. So we'll have to see what's going to happen there, and definitely, keep our eyes peeled about what's going to go on, and when it's going to go on, because I definitely think that's not over. And I think a lot more is going to come to our table. Not tomorrow, maybe not this year, but I do see it coming. And I think what people need to realize is that when change starts coming, it's going to cause people to rethink.
Right.
Let's imagine something for a moment, Marcus. Why don't we gander at the thought? I know this might really put some fears in people about an airplane running on batteries, particularly a new cargo plane. Well, in Burlington, Vermont, they're saying you could join Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, in the Annuals of Aviation History in the new beta technologies for startups aiming to revolutionize the aerospace industry with the Alia all-electric zero-emission aircraft powered by batteries. Dragonfly-like craft has 4 tilting propellers that allow it to take off and land vertically without a runway. With a range of 250 miles per charge, Alia is designed to hop from charging station to charging station, and the beta hopes to replace many short-haul trips by gasoline-burning trucks. I got a problem with that.
Yeah.
Because, I'm okay that one of my parcels is going on there, but there's still a pilot on there, at least, or a pilot and a co-pilot. What if something goes wrong? There's no, get out of Dodge warning, like, hey, the battery is going to go. You better jump out of the plane. It's almost like a kamikaze suicide mission, right?
It is.
I just feel that maybe if they're going to do that, my feeling is that it should have a backup for fuel. Now, not a lot of fuel, just enough fuel to safely land the plane.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe it's enough for 10 minutes to land the plane. So if something happens, they can make a descent with enough fuel to have enough to land the plane 2 or 3 times.
I agree.
So that's my thoughts. You won't catch me investing 1 penny in that, though.
No, I don't want that blood on my hand.
And that's definitely blood.
Yeah, at some point.
So we talk about Uber and we talk about Lyft. Well, they extended their legal fee coverage to drivers. They were sued
Mm,
under the Oklahoma's forthcoming abortion law. It's pretty
mm,
interesting. They both pledged to cover legal fees in the cases that the drivers are sued under Oklahoma's restrictive abortion bill, according to a report from the CNBC. So the bill has not yet been signed into law, but according to, and I quote, Republican Governor Kevin Stitt is expected to approve it within the next few days. I don't know, Marcus. Mixed views on that.
yeah. Oh
You
man,
know,
that's so much entanglement right there. That
yeah, we need a whole 3 hours just to even like touch the topic. But my feeling, without getting too controversial, is that it should be the choice of the woman, okay? But I think that she should be educated to know what she's actually doing. And when is it an okay time and when is it really considered like killing? Because if the fetus isn't fully born, then that's really non-abortion yet. So I don't know. I think it's being hyped into a lot of money and a lot of nonsense. And it's going to become a big profit maker for a lot of third parties.
it is.
It's funny how they just find these things to, sink their claws into, like, the bag law. Suddenly,
Yeah,
everybody, their mother and their brother want to become the bag experts that are selling these non-plastic bags.
yeah,
It's
that's true.
it's like suddenly it's like they want to sell whatever they can sell, but these people are like they hop around, Marcus. They just do whatever they think is good.
Yeah.
And like I was saying to you before, if you just keep hopping around, you're never going to be good at anything.
No, you're not. We got a lot of SJWs, social justice warriors,
Yep, yep,
who's
yep.
who think they're on the front lines trying to impress, someone and really put a footprint in the world, but really they're not doing anything. They're not even reinventing the wheel. So it's really an embarrassment.
Now, we talk about ethics all the time and doing things morally right. Hollywood's really getting a slap in the face as they're strongly starting to go after people that are using VPNs illegally. So,
Mm,
what does that mean? Well, first, it became an issue of, let's call it being anonymous and keeping your own identity out so people didn't know what you purchased. But then it became a little more involved. And that wasn't the problem. It was the fact when people started to use VPNs so that people couldn't trace back to them. And now many are being accused of copyright infringement and enabling a slew of illegal activities. And we're not just talking about copyright infringements, we're also talking about, let's say, exploitation of minors.
mm,
That's pretty hard.
yeah,
And I can tell you this might take some time before they get these people, but this is something a judge is not going lightly on.
right.
It's one thing if you don't want somebody to know, or you go to a hotel and you purchase a video, you don't want somebody to know what you purchased. But and now more companies are getting creative, and they bill your card something media company, because a media company's fine, right?
Hmm.
They don't put actually what you purchased; they put something media. So that's fine. But what these people are doing is actually exploiting kids, non-teens, non-adults, and then offering them money to be able to be part of something and funneling money. And the way they're funneling this money is they're trying to funnel it through PayPal. And a lot of these other PayPal's getting strict though. A lot of these other companies overseas. If you ever notice, Marcus, a lot of these adult sites, they're not running the United States because the
No,
U.S. will shut them down. They have
yeah,
accounts in other countries. And
yeah,
if you want to, I don't condone this, you want to do something illegal, you're going to pay a lot of money and they'll keep their mouth shut. Something's wrong with that picture.
yeah.
And you're talking a tune, Marcus, of not like free or $10 or $20 a month for your bank account. You're talking $2,000 to $5,000 a month to have the right to do business in another country.
Mm.
Why? Because of fraud and chargebacks.
Wow.
But the credit card companies are not very clean either. They
No.
claim they don't want these people when they're not making money, but suddenly when they start cranking the money and there's no problems and they see a lot of traffic and money coming in with very little returns, they want to be on board with it.
Right.
There was a company, I forget, several years ago, Marcus, they were selling babies online
Oh my goodness.
to the highest bidder.
Oh wow.
So, unfortunately, if somebody wants to pay a price, they're going to get away with it if they do it outside the country. If they bring it inside our country, it becomes a problem. And so, what these Hollywood people were noticing is that their videos are getting exploited, but now they're doing all this other illegal activity, and it's suddenly a problem. It's not causing the film industry to be in trouble. They're not getting in trouble for it, but they're annoyed because their content is driving these predators to do what Mr. Nuccitelli says, which is the online distress dictates offline response. And
Right.
so it's conditioning these people to be animals, to be somebody that doesn't think with their logical or their mental or their moral brain. That's a problem. That's a really, really big problem, Marcus.
That is. Yeah.
And I think people have to learn that. And I tell people this every day, you can't buy me. Like, oh, what do you mean you can't buy me? I said, no, you don't get it. It's a principle. Oh, I'll take it. No, you don't understand. And you ask 9 out of 10 people, they don't want to do something. Suddenly you pay them, they'll do it. And I've done this as an experiment just to see. I didn't really give them the money, but I was just testing them. And I said, I wasn't really going to pay you. I was just curious to see if you would do it. I was not really going to pay you. Right. I said, so you could be bought. Well, I mean, you're offering the money. Just wanted to see you were willing to take it.
Yeah.
And then the show says, "Oh, I knew you were just joshing me." No, you didn't. No, you didn't, because you were actually trying to negotiate the amount of money you were going to get.
Mm-hmm.
So you obviously didn't know that it was a setup.
Exactly.
So many things in this world, Marcus, happen. People pay more money, and then suddenly they can just happen, even though they're not supposed to happen. That's another problem. That's why we have the Secrecy Act of money, which we talked about. You go over a $10,000 deposit, well, bank's going to report that to the IRS, and they keep seeing those transactions. They're probably going to send you a letter and ask you that they're going to want to visit you.
Yep.
They're not coming after somebody that takes $10. Okay? Although you shouldn't take anything.
No, you shouldn't at all.
They're after the big guys. They're after the guys that are taking $1 million, 5,000, 10,000, multiple clips.
Yeah.
And they figure that if they take this, Marcus, they could just magically leave the country. This is why they open banks in other countries.
Yeah.
More and more banks out of countries are starting to cooperate with the U.S. Secrecy Act.
Yep.
So you can't just bury your money in Switzerland anymore or put it under a mattress. But our last story for tonight is a really good one. People say to me, John, automation is going to be the killer of industries, especially the automotive industry. So automation is not the biggest killer of the automotive industry. Okay. So the number of American workers who quit their jobs during the pandemic, over the fifth of the workplace, may constitute one of the largest American labor movements in the recent history. Problem is not automation. The problem is people.
It is. And we talked about this like throughout all of the,
Pandemic.
the pandemic, man. Just like how
Pandemic.
people just like refuse to go back to work, and then when they go back to work, they got these different demands. It's and then it's really hard to just retain good honest work nowadays. I
Well,
don't
my,
know.
my, my philosophy is this. So if I interview 500 people,
Yeah,
I'll probably come close to hiring two.
yeah,
That's terrible, isn't it?
it is. Yeah, I'm finding myself in the same boat right now.
So what
It's
I
really hard.
find out, the magic sauce, if you will, is this. You have to get them to pre-qualify so they answer the questions. You set up a virtual interview with them. They don't show up, they're done. And
Yeah,
I put right in the job application, we are busy. If you don't show up to the virtual interview or the in-person interview, you're done. Kicking back to me, cursing me out, telling me you have blah, 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 some nerve. He says, when you develop a proper attitude, then maybe you'll get some people. I want to work from home and this is what I'm worth. And it's terrible. So my magic sauce is this. So they show up, you validated them, and now you let them know, you can do the background check, which they obviously know, but I don't rush to the background check. I do another survey with them in person. They
hmm
take the survey, we see if they're worthy, and I look at their resume. So my range. Oh, I'm okay with your range. They're okay with your range, but truthfully, Marcus, they're not. They just told you, yeah, I'm okay with what you're paying. Okay, low to high, and usually you start with the lower number. So I go to them. Okay, so you're happy. So what would you like to get paid if you start? What would you like to make? And then they have a conversation. Like, well, I would like to get a couple more dollars an hour. Well, what would you like to get? And so I think it's about having that conversation, because if the person can't tell you what they want, they're done. If they come to me and
Yep.
say, "Hey, John, I like it, but I need an extra $2 an hour. I need an extra dollar an hour." The candidate's worth it. Are you really okay with, let's say, having a crappy job, or would you rather blow, let's say, an extra $1 to $3 a day per employee per hour? So let's say you have one employee, 8, 16, 14. Can you not afford $14 or $15 more a day? Is that really going to make a difference with you? Probably not. And that extra dollar or two could be the difference of that person not being replaced.
Right.
It's all about finding somebody that agrees with your mission, with your culture, with your company. And just seeing, are they happy where they are right now? I interviewed a kid the other day, and he's working for a company. I said, I know you're working for this company. And I said, that's great. And he was working from a third party that hired him to work at this company. I said, are you happy at that company? Well, not really. The hours are terrible. And I said, well, is there any advancement at that company? Like, can you make any more money? Can you get any raises or any kind of promotions or any kind of job changes? Not really. I said, so if another job came around where you could make more money, you could be more respected, you could learn something new, would that be of any interest to you? Yes. So I think you have to find out what motivates people, Marcus, and it's
Right.
not money.
It's not
It's
always
not
money.
money.
Yeah, it's not always the money. Some people are just looking for different amenities that's added in the job area. Some different benefits
So we're working on something starting in January that we're going to have a whole bunch of services when they come on board that they have access to. One of the
Yeah.
lowest mortgage rates in the industry. And in addition to doing this, we make a few points off of it. But we're doing this because of the fact that we're bringing this to them
Right.
and the fact that they might need other services. So I think that's what employees want. They want to know that you got their back.
Yeah.
And I tell them this up front. Look, guys, I don't know if it's going to work or not, but if you take care of me, you could have a very long future here. And some people are smart like that. Other people that don't. Also, when I do the background checks and the drug test, I'm like, you got to have it done within 48 hours. It's like,
Right.
make sure. And when you see somebody getting it done well within that time or earlier than that time, that person's interested in the job.
Hmm.
And I tell my friend, I say, to bring somebody on board, it cost me close to $900 to bring somebody on board with
Oh yeah.
the drug tests, the background check, the uniforms. I said, that's a lot of money. And then to
Yeah.
have that person quit because they weren't psychologically on board. So we like to basically hire slow and fire fast. So we're not in a rush to hire anybody.
Right.
We want to get the right guy or the right girl for the right position.
Yeah.
And I think everybody today, Marcus, is trying to play smoking games and mirrors.
Hmm.
And you got to be honest with your cards. If you're working somewhere, look, I'm working somewhere. I'm working full time, but I'm interested in working part time and open to possibilities in the future. You got to be honest when you walk in that door. I had a person several years ago, Marcus. He was from a jail, a white collar jail.
Okay.
And we were running his background check, a gentleman a lot older than me, and he came to work. And we ran his thing. I said, is there anything you want to tell me before we did anything? He says, well, John, he says, you're going to find some stuff on me. I said, okay, well, just tell me what it is. I said, that may not even affect your employment. We just want to know what's on there. A big speeding ticket. What is it? He says, no. He says, you're going to find that I was arrested. Oh, okay. May I ask for what? Was it stealing? You don't have to give me all the details, but what? Can you give me a general idea? Oh, yeah, sure. It was a white collar crime. Okay, so you didn't harm anybody. You didn't steal anything. Well, I did. I apparently they said I stole money from the IRS. So it was a white collar crime.
Yeah.
And even though we were working with his parole officer, he was probably one of our best employees at the time. About a
Yeah.
year or two before COVID, he decided he wanted to leave because he had gotten a job. Supposedly, he was a jack of all trades doing building. And that really wasn't what he wanted to be, but he wanted to go move with his brother and do that. And then he asked his parole officer if he could leave early. They said no. Then they said yes. And before I know it, instead of having, like the 2 or 3 weeks notice, I'm being told that he's leaving, whatever, shortly. I mean, I was told in a month, but the point is that I expected to have another 6 months. And that kind of just changed. So I think being honest and upfront with people is the most important thing you can do as a person, and creating that relationship up front, even if you don't get hired. These kids
Hmm.
today, you tell me you want to meet with them and then they suddenly don't show up because they're busy. Because I had one person, I really should sue the carrier company. So why? Well, it was their fault that I didn't get your phone call. I mean, it was their fault. Well, I had my phone on. It didn't ring. So I should sue Verizon. I said, well, I don't know if you really can sue Verizon. He's like, well, I should, because I could have been making a lot more money working with you guys. And now because you're being such an idiot and won't talk to me because I didn't. So, you need to hire me. I don't need to do anything. You need to become more responsible, ma'am. And when you do, your life's going to change. Can't
Right.
be having your parents do it for you. Can't have your friends do it for you. You can get help. But
Hmm.
you got to be the one in the driver's seat. You got to be the one that takes the credit, that takes the responsibility. And if you're not ready to put on those that big girl shoes,
Yeah.
you're just not ready.
Yeah. You can forget about it.
You
That's
can
for
forget
real.
about it, because once somebody knows your character, your personality, you're done.
Mhm.
You're just done. And I think today the hardest thing with hiring somebody is getting people with that higher mentality.
Yeah.
And I think doing tests with them is one way, but somebody that applies for a position says they want to learn, and then they come in to take a test and they can't even answer a basic question. Who do they think they're fooling, Marcus? And I think a lot of these people, since COVID, they become con artists
Yep.
because they can. And because they know you can't get anybody, So it's really important to let these people know that you're not desperate, that there are the candidates you're interviewing.
Right.
Because they suddenly think, well, I'm it. I'm the only one. And you'll get somebody that's asking you for a high price. It's not even worth it. But it is a process. It's a process. It's about getting to know them, doing a reference check on them, checking on their references. And somebody that tells you that it's not worth all this time and effort, say, okay, that's fine. We're probably not a fit anyway. When somebody tells you how to interview or tells you when you should finish, I tell this person, it might take a week or two before we get your results. Oh, okay, no problem. Another person's like, a week or two? I can't wait that long. Well, maybe we shouldn't even start the process then.
Yeah, and you waited this long.
I don't want to hold you up. Maybe you can go get a job at one of the restaurants or something. I don't want to hold you up.
Yeah, but but my thing is like, they waited this long, like, so what seems to be, just the rush now.
Well, the rush now is they want to put your name down on an unemployment application to show somebody that they went for a job interview.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Now we understand.
That's where they're coming from, and they got to get this done by next week, or they're going to lose their unemployment pay.
Oh yeah, we forgot about that.
Or they got to go in person and before a caseworker, and they got to lie and con artist the person into believing that they're trying to look for a job when they're really not.
Right.
This is when they tell all kinds of stories. Their mom's in the hospital. Their father's sick with a heart problem. Their grandmother got rushed to the hospital. Their friend, something happened to them. All kinds of excuses that I will call psychosomatic because they never really existed. They're diseases that somebody brought on, but there's no trait of the disease.
Right.
Like the father has a heart attack, but he really didn't have a heart attack. And then tomorrow he might say that maybe he had a COVID or something, because that sounds really hot these days.
Yeah, and very believable.
Very believable. Somebody told me, "Oh, I got COVID." I said, "Oh, well, that's a shame." I said, "What are you doing for it?" "Oh, nothing." "Or are you going to get tested?" "No, that's okay." "All right, well, I guess we'll see you in 14 days. 14 days? What do you mean? Well, if you don't get a test. Yeah, no, it's fine. It's minor. How do you know it's minor? Well, it just is. It'll go away. It'll go away. I had it once before. Oh, you had COVID before? I had it. It goes away. So what is the system's like? Oh, just a little headache, a little stuffed up. Oh, really? Oh, you got it really mild compared to some people. Yeah, no, I have really good genes, and it didn't hit me so hard. Well, that's great. And you can just tell that they're lying to you. The other way you can tell, Marcus, is somebody gives you too much information. Well, my mom, 11 o'clock last night, they rushed her to the hospital. She got there. The doctor wasn't available. They had to rush her in for emergency surgery. They came out. Unfortunately, she still had a problem. They had to rush her in again. I mean, when they add too many details to the story, they try to make it believable, but it's not the truth.
Right.
I play a game with my friends. It's called Two Truths and a Lie. Can you tell which one's a truth? Can you tell which one's a lie? I'm a serial entrepreneur. I enjoy reading books. I help people when they don't want the help. A little hard to tell which one's truth, which one's a lie.
Right.
They all seem believable.
Mm-hmm.
The last one. I'm not going to help somebody if they don't want the help. So it doesn't have to be anything crazy. And you just got to be comfortable with the person. If you could be comfortable with the person, and if you run a few minutes over, like, oh, I got to go. I got another. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you short. If they're telling you the interview time is over, that's a good indication that that's probably, oh, no problem. I'm sorry to keep you. We'll let you go. I don't want to make you late for your next interview. Or I had another girl. She was from college. She wanted an internship. And she's like, oh, I'm coming back, and I don't know when I'm going to have time. I'm going to be back next month. And what is it? You go through all the questions with them. It's like, okay, well, I'm really not sure. What do you mean not sure? Well, I don't know. Would you live close? Yes, I live close. Okay, well, that's great. Want to come for an interview? I'm not sure if it's a fit yet. Let me take a couple weeks and think about it. That's a problem.
It is.
They just feel they want to. Oh, because they're thinking, oh, the job will be there in a few weeks. Well, it may not. Oh, well, can you call me if it's not available? No. That's that word, Marcus, entitled.
Yeah, entitlement.
Entitlement.
It's dangerous.
It's dangerous. It has a good connotation to feel entitled, to empower yourself to be better. That's great. But when the entitlement drips into making you be a jerk or a selfish prick, that's when it's gone too far.
Exactly.
Well, we are at the top of our next hour. I don't know where this all goes, but we'll keep definitely tracking this stuff for you and let you know what's going to happen with all these great people. And we have another good guest coming up actually next month in June. We try to have 1 or 2 guests a month to keep you guys on your toes. And if you have an idea for a show, reach out to us at jmor.com. Click on the reach out button. Or if you'd like to be a guest, you can reach out to our team, and we'd be happy to set up a pre-interview to see if you'd be a good fit for a guest. Remember, this is not a sales show. So if you're coming here to try to sell what you made or trying to tell us about what you can do for somebody for $9.99 or whatever it is, you got the wrong show. You're probably looking for eBay, or perhaps you're looking for one of the Facebook selling channels, but that's not what we're about. So if that's your intention, we're probably going to thank you for your time and move on. Well, it has been another great show, Marcus. And as much as I don't want to say goodbye, we have to. Yep. So goodbye, everyone. Have a great weekend. Keep up with technology. Be smart. Get educated. And make sure that when you're going to do something in life, you do it from your gut, not because someone else tells you to do it. Be sure to check out IFYL. We have lots of great things happening there, inspirations for your life, because everyone wants to become a better version of themselves. We'll see you next week, which for those of you that are tracking this, that's May 20th, but you can always come back to our channel and watch these shows 24 hours a day and become inspired because we got lots of nuggets in these shows, so you probably want to watch them a few times. Hey, it's free, so what do you have to lose? Grab your favorite beer, your brew, or your snack, lounge up in the couch, sit in your favorite easy chair, and plug us in and watch us or hear us, because we'll inspire your life when you're not even ready for it. I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. We'll catch you next week, everyone. Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Let me get that uploaded 1 second here. Another great show.
Yes.
Not too long, just around the 42-minute mark. Oh, we're still broadcasting. Whoops. Why aren't we? Make sure you cut that up. For some reason, I don't know what happened there. Said end broadcast. Why did